Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Taylor Baxter is the Clinton City Administrator, joins us in studio to follow up the Tuesday night Clinton Board of Education, or the Clinton City Council meeting. Sorry about that, Taylor. Didn't mean to shift roles on you there. How was the meeting last night?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good meeting. We talked about some really important things, and it got out of there, and it was a good meeting.
So I saw on there, and just we can touch on it. We don't have to dive into the kind of all the things that went into the conversation. But I saw Muhammad Aquifer was a theme of one of the presenters last night. How about that?
Yeah, very interesting presentation. A lot of information that was given to us last night. The Muhammad Aquifer, which is the single source of water for a lot of the counties in central Illinois. There's some legislation. There's some projects being presented to the state of Illinois to store carbon underneath the Muhammad Aquifer. And based on what she was talking about last night, there was a couple folks from the Eco Justice Collaborative group. Illinois is kind of the sweet spot in the country. There's a couple different places, Illinois, Texas, and North Dakota. Based on the geology of the ground, Illinois is a sweet spot to store carbon, I guess. Mm-hmm. And the impact of carbon storage underneath the aquifer is really kind of unknown, because if it were to leak, it could get into our water source and contaminate it, and which obviously we don't want that. And there's, again, the single source of water is the Muhammad Aquifer for us. So a lot of interesting things that were brought up with that, but very important stuff for sure.
So are they asking for council to pass maybe a resolution of support or opposition to that legislation, something
Correct.
like that?
Yeah. So that might be coming at our next meeting of putting that on file. That's exactly right, Seth. It was this group is going around to basically all over central Illinois and presenting to councils just like they did last night.
Gotcha.
Saying, hey, we need your help, support with this, pass legislation. I think they're going to be going to the county board as well for their support of their initiative. So,
sure.
Yeah,
all right. Easy.
What happens.
Very good. Well, let's dive into some city business from last night. And let's start with, Taylor, the grocery tax. That was an item voted on last night. Break this down for us, because when Governor Pritzker presented his budget address, he talked about the grocery tax going away. Not necessarily entirely accurate. I'm sure we're surprised a politician wasn't completely honest with us. That basically, he deferred that tax to each community, correct?
Exactly right, yes.
Okay.
So, when he presented his budget, this was one of the items that was cut from the budget, for different reasons. We'll never know, but the state of Illinois doesn't benefit from the grocery tax, and I think that's a big reason why there was some support of it from the administration, saying, hey, look, we're going to be cutting this tax. We're not going to be taxing you. Again, it could have been political. Who knows? But anyways, the state of Illinois has left it up to each municipality to basically reenact that grocery tax ordinance. And it's very important for us to have that. It's a lot of money. I'd have to get with Clinton to figure out, but it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for the city of Clinton, where we would be losing out on that. And it's groceries. It could be, convenience stores, travel centers, those sort of things. There's certain criteria that fit into that category, but so this was our step to reenact that. Nothing is changing. There's no increase in taxes. We decided as a council, we can't take that $100,000 plus hit on the grocery tax, so we reenacted it.
Okay, so do you know what that rate is or anything?
I think it's 1%.
Okay.
I believe so. I think that's what it's at.
Okay.
So we kept that the same.
All right, very good. Well, when it comes to the other things voted on last night, non-home rule sales tax ordinance, what is this?
Yeah, non-home rule. The city of Clinton is a non-home rule municipality. So if you look across the state of Illinois, there are two different sorts of communities. You have your non-home rule, and then you have your home rule. So non-home rule, you don't have as much authority to basically enact things. You have to have it passed by referendum. And with a home rule, it's kind of a free game. You get to decide what you're going to do in your community, and that's a lot of those larger municipalities
where you probably have a bigger city council.
Yeah. So with this, the non-home rule sales tax, in the past, before this legislation was passed, we would have had to gone to the voters to increase our sales tax, and with all of the changes, the state of Illinois granted non-home rule communities the ability to increase their sales tax to a full 1%. So the city of Clinton was a 0.5% before. So what we did was we increased it just a 0.5%. Again, we didn't need the voter approval, but this is really where it comes down to infrastructure projects. I've talked a lot about the water tower, the water main. It can be only spent on infrastructure projects, and that's what we're going to be doing using this money for. So, that really is what it is. The biggest thing with the sales tax, it doesn't include titled vehicles, so cars, trailers, anything that has a title attached to it, that does not count within the sales tax.
Yeah. So essentially, if I can simplify it, the state allowed for that tax to be increased in non-home rule communities, and Clinton is taking advantage of that.
Yes. Yep.
Any idea what that increase could generate and how far that could go in helping with those projects you're talking about?
A substantial amount. And really with the sales tax, you look at that, and I'll have to get the numbers for you next time, Seth, but in my head, I've got 400,000, and I don't know why. I mean, that's in my head, and Clint could be rolling over right now at his desk like, why are you saying this? But I think that's what it would help us out with those different types of projects. It's a substantial amount of money.
Okay.
But yeah, you're going to see this all over the state of Illinois. This isn't just Clinton just doing this. There's municipalities all over, and it has to be done by a certain time, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do it. So again, tying it in with the grocery tax, it's you don't like to hear the word taxes, but if we want clean drinking water, if we need a new water tower, that money's got to come from somewhere, and the sales tax is a good one because a lot of the times it's from people traveling through, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, very good. So those things acted on Tuesday night. Taylor Baxter, Clinton City Administrator, our guest in studio this morning, following up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. Anything else from the meeting last night, Taylor, of note, whether the council discussed, took action on, anything like that we need to point out there for folks?
Commissioner Ballinger made a note of this just with the start of school and safety. We heard about unfortunately the individual that got hit at the out on, I think it was a 54. Just safety in general with vehicles and with school starting. We're seeing some activity around the schools that we're going to be increasing our police presence around schools. So just being mindful of that. Commissioner Ballinger brought that up. So that was something that was discussed. And then Park Lane subdivision, Park Lane West, have talked about that a ton. We're moving forward. It's going really, really well. The road is completely done. So now last night, the new business, we moved that up to unfinished business so we could vote on it. But it was the utility installation with Ameren. So they're doing the electrical and the gas main. So we're getting close. I mean, we're right on schedule. Hopefully by the end of the fall, I've got 6 lots sold.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So they're moving, and if everybody's interested in that, just let me know.
Well, let's jump down to that new business piece there, Taylor, and what's going to be coming up when we convene on the 1st of October. What is the council going to be looking at when they convene in October?
So we have a couple different things. Whenever the city decides to get rid of excess property, personal property, equipment, that sort of thing, we can't just give it away. We can't just sell it. We need an authorization from the council to do that. So there was some water facility things that we were looking at getting rid of, some fire department items that we were looking to get rid of. So that was authorizing that. Some new things for the trucks. The fire department has a fire prevention manual, and that it's going to be voted on in the next meeting. Other than that, that seemed to be pretty much it for the meeting last night.
All right, very good. So could be a short one when we come up in
It could be.
October.
Yeah, it could be.
All right, very good. Well, Taylor, I'll tell you what. Let's break here, my friend. Come back with some more. Taylor Baxter, Clinton City Administrator, our guest in studio here for today. We'll talk more with him coming up on the morning show.
WHOW.
If you're looking for a local, full or part-time job in Central Illinois, there's an easy place to go to find current job openings. It's IllinoisJobPost.com. That's IllinoisJobPost.com. You'll find jobs available near you. And the best part is that it's free for candidates to access 24/7. If you want a local job, when you don't have to spend a lot of money on gas to get to, then you want access to IllinoisJobPost.com to check out current local job openings. That web address again is IllinoisJobPost.com. Another service from your friends at the Miller Media Group.
Noah Atkinson here. As owner of Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs in Lincoln, I know small business is important to our communities. That's why I'm pleased to be the exclusive sponsor of the WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month.
Big D Food and Liquor has been a Clinton staple for decades for your favorite beverage, snacks, and more. And they now offer online gaming. They'll receive a $200 gift certificate good at Lincoln Printers and Sign Designs for being our WHOW WEZC Lincoln Printers Business of the Month. Nominate a business you'd like featured by emailing us at WHOW@randyradio.com.
Congratulations to this local business for all they do for the community. And don't forget, for envelopes, wedding invitations, signs, banner wraps, and more, go to LincolnPrintersInc.com.
Rehab, recover, and return home. When you or your loved one use the Bounce Back program at Liberty Village of Clinton. When you're not ready for a nursing home, their Bounce Back program is the answer. Click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
Healthy children make better students and stronger athletes. Be their advocate. Schedule their back-to-school physicals today at SIU Center for Family Medicine. Call 217-735-2317 now or click their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today is Taylor Baxter. He is the city administrator for the city of Clinton, following up the Tuesday night Clinton City Council meeting. And Taylor, you referenced the projects that Clinton is taking on in the first segment. Let's get an update on some of those. Let's start with kind of the water, because I know that one is ongoing. What's happening there?
Yeah. Kind of moving forward, kind of not at this point. We've approved a lot of upgrades at the water plant. So it's a lot of things that the public isn't necessarily seeing right now, but there are things that are happening out there. Kyle Morris, who is our assistant public works director, and he oversees the water plant, he gave us a tour the other day, and it is absolutely amazing, the intricacies of a water plant and how to just push water out that is clean, that's safe. So a lot of those things are getting updated. A lot of the planning and the design work behind the water main extension, or water main improvement, as well as the water tower, those things are getting worked on as we speak. There's deadlines that we have to meet, and our engineers are working on that. So still moving forward, still working on things. It's just kind of behind the scenes at the water plant itself right now.
So what's kind of the timeline on the water tower? Because this has been in the works for a few years now, and it feels like the city's kind of finally at a point financially they can do it. What's the timeline on that? Yeah.
The goal, and from what I remember, we could be up and going by, I think, 2026, I believe it was, just based on the funding rounds and all of that from the state of Illinois, the construction, because we want to get the water main done first, because you don't want to be having a new water tower, but then you don't have any way to actually get it there. So we're going to work on the water main first and the water tower.
Do we have a location for the water tower yet?
Yeah, a general idea, kind of where it's at now, but it's going to be across the street on, was it Quincy Street? So there's a spot there that's been kind of allocated for that. The city owns a couple of other pieces of property. I think it was called, was it Doc Allen's old building. There's a spot there that could potentially go. We might use that as a parking lot. So we're still trying to figure out the best location for it, but there's some space allocated for it. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So very good. Look forward to that. Let's dive into City Hall. What do we know there? What's the latest?
Yeah, we've been working with Core Construction and Farnsworth Group on this. This is the City Hall Police Station and Fire Station. The council thought it was a good idea to work with them and just try to figure out, okay, we realize we have some deficiencies within City Hall, Police Station, and Fire Station. Let's go out and see what a new facility would look like. They met with us individually as a team in groups to try to figure out what the city of Clinton actually needs. So they came back, and as you can imagine, we're kind of running low on space, and we need some more space, and really deciding, okay, here's what we need versus here's what we want. So we're kind of at that point now where we've got this large building, and it came in over budget, as you can imagine. There's a lot of square footage there. So we're trying to decide the type of building we would be looking at, how much square footage we really need, and then what is our max budget. So we're kind of in that phase now of deciphering where the council wants to go with it, and hopefully have an answer for that here shortly to move on to the next phase.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a lot of projects like this. You know, you kind of get the grand vision of what you want. Like everybody gets everything, you know, and then you got to start to narrow down. Okay, we really don't need this. We really don't need that. We could do without this. You know, like this would be nice, but maybe we could do without it. You know, so maybe that's where it sounds like that's where we're at.
And we're not alone in that. You're exactly right, Seth. So the town of Normal just went through a very similar process with just their fire department. It was a substation for them. They originally had budgeted, I think, like $4 million, and I think the original building was 15,000 square feet. They had to cut 5,000 square feet off and increase their budget to, I think, $8 million. So it was $770 a square foot for this. I mean, that's the real time cost of what a building costs right now, and it's just crazy. So we got to decide if we're going to increase our budget, if we're going to cut back, and the style of building. So we'll see what the council decides.
Can we increase the budget? Like, is there the capacity for that?
I don't think there is, based on everything that we've talked about. We would have to enact some new taxes, and we've already, like I said, we've talked about that enough today. But it would just be, it's a substantial amount of money that I don't think, because you think about, we would have to go out and use all of our reserves, which we don't want to do. We would have to go out and max out our general obligation bond, and we don't want to do that because if something else comes up, we're stuck. Like we can't do anything else. So yes, is this new facility a great idea? Yes, but we can't be naive and understand that, hey, other things are going to pop up too. We need to be smart about this.
And I know you haven't, it sounds like you haven't talked to the council yet based off of how you're speaking this morning. But I mean, is the possibility of saying just now's not the right time? Let's wait until costs come down, or what's your thought there?
Possibility, but it could also be, okay, do we like City Hall where it's at? Is it just going to be a fire station? Could it just be a public safety complex where it's just police and fire? There's a lot of different moving pieces to this thing where is it financially acceptable for us to have two buildings and operate two different buildings? Because then the whole layout of City Hall could change, where we could be on the first floor for our meetings and not have the issue with the elevator. And we still want to make it accessible, of course, but that's really what's drove this whole thing is the space, but also the ADA accessibility.
Yeah.
So a lot of moving pieces, Seth. I'm not really sure what they're going to decide, but we'll see.
The elevator. How's the elevator doing lately?
Moving forward, very, very good. Actually, they were here yesterday. Kone, the company that we're using, they came and did a initial site survey. We're working on an agreement with them as kind of like a Band-Aid project. We haven't had really any issues, but we don't want to be just contacting them when something does happen. We're trying to be proactive and thinking about that. So we're working on a maintenance agreement with them kind of in the short term until we get that remodernization utilization of the elevator officially underway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So was the council like? Is it operational right now?
Right now, yep.
Yeah, because you're having meetings in the
Yep.
council chambers.
Yep.
So
It's, now we put it out in the air. I'm going to go back to City Hall. It's probably not going to be working, but
you put that good energy
I
out in the
know.
universe,
Dang
and
it, Seth.
it's going to
Yeah.
bite you. It's going to bite you. No. Okay, Taylor. I got about a minute and a half here.
Sure.
Anything I missed? Anything going on your side of things?
Sidewalk projects, we talked about that. Downtown, it looks really, really good. The sidewalk projects, we call it our streetscape, and just in time for Apple and Pork, they wrapped everything up. It looks really nice. I'm just excited because from City Hall over to Sereno's, it's an easy walk for me now because on Tuesdays I just go eat Sereno's before the council meetings, and there was no sidewalk there. It was rock. It was all broken up, and it's just a nice easy walk now. So
Yeah. So I know like business owners have come to the council asking for like the spaces in front of their. Will that be taken up at any point?
as far as
Like,
just like
on the square itself.
I think so, yeah. You can see there's definitely areas of improvement. It's just getting a little bit older, and I forget the last time that the major downtown components were done. I would have to ask Steve Lobb, but yeah, we're always looking at trying to improve downtown. I've been working with Missy Morris and Nate Ennis kind of behind the scenes. They've got some really cool things planned for downtown for Christmas. It's just really exciting to see the community get involved and want to make Clinton better. So we'll be on the lookout for that for sure.
All right, very good, Taylor. Well, always good to talk with you. Thanks for making time for us. Taylor Baxter, Clinton City Administrator, our guest in studio today. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way on the morning show.